All right, so today we're going on a deep dive into something a little unexpected.
Ooh.
The Book of Numbers.
Okay.
Not exactly the first thing you think of for light reading, right?
Right.
But the first chapter is actually surprisingly relevant, even today in our, modern data-driven world.
Interesting.
So we've got the King James Version here, of course, but also to give us a little bit of historical perspective, we're also looking at a commentary on Numbers by Matthew Henry from 1710.
Okay, yeah. I think that'll be a really fascinating juxtaposition to have those two side by side.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think about, the ancient Israelites, fresh out of slavery in Egypt.
Right.
They're wandering in the wilderness, and then God commands Moses to take a census.
Right.
It's like amidst all this chaos and uncertainty, God's like, hold on, let's get organized.
Yeah. It's much more than just a head count, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
This isn't just like, some ancient population survey.
Right.
God specifically asks for a count of all men aged 20 and up. Who can go to war?
Yeah.
We're talking about military force.
Exactly. This census really sets the stage for the Israelites' transition from a band of escaped slaves to a potential fighting force.
Right.
A nation in the making.
Yeah.
And it speaks volumes about their aspirations, their growing power, and even the threat they might pose to other nations in the region.
It's really interesting to see.
It's not just about knowing how many people they have.
Right.
It's about, understanding their potential, their ability to conquer the promised land.
Yeah, I'm already seeing some modern-day parallels here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
One thing I was surprised about was that Reuben, as the eldest son of Jacob, didn't actually have the largest tribe.
Oh, right.
That went to Judah.
Yeah, the tribes of Judah.
It's a detail that might seem minor.
Yeah.
But it's actually hugely significant in the grand narrative of the Bible.
Wow.
This is the tribe from which King David and eventually Jesus will descend.
So it's like this seemingly simple census is already hinting at the future trajectory of the Israelite people.
Yeah.
The unfolding of God's plan.
It is fascinating to see how, even back then, the census was about more than just numbers.
Right.
It's like you said, it reveals these underlying power dynamics.
Yes.
These hints about, who might hold sway in this emerging nation.
Absolutely. And it also highlights the meticulous record-keeping and administrative sophistication of these people. I mean, remember, this is long before computers, calculators, any of that.
Right.
To conduct a detailed census in the middle of the wilderness speaks to a level of organization that's pretty impressive for a nomadic people.
Yeah.
They're not just wandering around aimlessly.
Right.
They're systematically building a nation,
brick by brick.
Brick by brick.
Name by name.
Name by name, that's right.
Over 600,000 men.
It's a huge number.
It's a staggering number.
Yeah.
I mean, forget spreadsheets.
Right.
Can you imagine the logistical nightmare of managing that many people?
I know.
In the wilderness?
It's hard to fathom.
We're talking about food, shelter, water.
It makes you wonder how they did it.
Right.
But, the text emphasizes that this multitude was sustained by God's provision.
Right.
It's a testament to their faith and reliance on divine support. Even when faced with these seemingly impossible challenges, this is a group of people who have seen plagues cross the Red Sea, and now they're being fed and sheltered in this really harsh environment.
It's pretty amazing.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the midst of all this chaos and uncertainty, faith can provide a sense of order and stability.
Well, almost everyone's included in this headcount, right?
Yeah.
There is one group that's specifically excluded.
Yes.
The Levites.
Right.
They're given a completely different role.
Right.
And some might say even more vital role.
Yes, indeed. The Levites become the caretakers of the tabernacle, which is that portable sanctuary that houses the Ark of the Covenant.
Right.
They're entrusted with these sacred objects and rituals that bind this community together.
Yeah.
So while the warriors are focusing on physical protection, the Levites are entrusted with the spiritual well-being of the nation.
So it's a fascinating division of labor.
Yeah.
Where both roles are essential for the Israelites' survival and success. It's almost like recognizing that a nation needs more than just brute force to thrive.
That's right.
It needs that spiritual foundation.
Yeah.
A connection to something greater than itself.
Exactly. And this separation of duties is actually highlighted in Matthew Henry's commentary, where he says that singular services shall be recompensed by singular honors. It's this idea that everyone has a role to play, and those roles are valued differently,
Right, yeah.
but equally in the eyes of God.
It's almost like ancient talent management in a way.
Yeah.
Recognizing the diverse skills and aptitudes you need to build a successful society.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
This makes me think about some of Henry's other comments on individual worth and the importance of recognizing everyone's contribution. But before we get too far down that rabbit hole, I think it's time we maybe dig a little deeper into Henry's perspective on all of this.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So we've got this really fascinating division of labor here, right?
Yeah.
The warriors and the Levites,
Right.
each with their own unique responsibilities. But what about the leaders themselves?
Oh, yeah.
Each tribe had a designated leader, right?
Precisely.
Someone responsible for their well-being.
Yeah, the text actually names each leader.
Does it really?
Yeah, Eliezer, Shalumiel, Nahshon.
Wow.
It's like a roll call almost.
Yeah.
Highlighting their individual importance and the weight of their responsibilities.
So it's not just about, being a military commander.
Right.
They're almost like shepherds.
Yes.
Guiding their tribe through the wilderness.
Yeah, both physically and spiritually.
And that really emphasizes, I think, a crucial aspect of leadership.
What's that?
Accountability.
Oh, absolutely.
Each leader is responsible not just for the numbers, right?
Right.
But for the tribe's actions.
Yeah, their spiritual well-being.
It's a very holistic view of leadership.
It is.
Recognizing that true authority comes with a deep sense of responsibility for those you lead.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And this concept of leadership even extends to Moses, right?
Oh, for sure.
He's not just blindly following orders.
Right.
He's actively engaging with God.
Yeah. Seeking clarification.
Making sure that the census is conducted meticulously.
Absolutely. Moses really embodies this idea of servant leadership.
Yeah.
He's not just dictating from on high.
He's working alongside the people.
Yeah, seeking divine guidance and making sure that everything's done, with precision and purpose.
Makes you wonder if those leadership qualities were partly shaped by this whole experience.
Oh, yeah.
Having to organize this massive census.
Talk about a crash course in management, right?
Right. So what can we learn about leadership from all of this? I mean, it's one thing to admire these figures from, ancient times. But how do these lessons translate to today?
Well, for one thing, it reminds us that leadership isn't just about giving orders.
Okay.
It's about inspiring, guiding, and ultimately being accountable for the well-being of those you lead. It's about recognizing that true authority is earned through service,
right?
Through compassion, and a deep understanding of the needs of those you're entrusted to guide.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But what about the structure of leadership?
What do you mean?
It seems very hierarchical, right?
Yeah.
Moses at the top, then the tribal leaders? That doesn't really fit with our modern emphasis on collaboration.
Right.
And flatter organizational structures, does it?
That's a valid point. But remember, even within this seemingly hierarchical structure, there's an element of distributed leadership. Moses relies on a network of tribal leaders, each with their own responsibilities and authority.
Yeah.
He's not micromanaging every detail. He's empowering others to take ownership and contribute their unique skills and perspectives.
So it's more of a collaborative effort than it might appear at first glance.
Exactly, a shared responsibility where everyone plays a part in the success of the whole.
And that idea of distributed leadership is surprisingly relevant today.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, think about successful businesses, organizations.
Yeah, even social movements.
They all rely on empowering individuals at different levels to take ownership.
Right.
And contribute their unique skills.
It's about fostering that sense of shared purpose.
Yeah.
And recognizing that effective leadership isn't about one person calling all the shots.
Right.
It's about creating an environment where everyone feels valued, empowered, and invested in that collective success.
It's fascinating how something like a census can spark these kinds of insight.
Yeah, right.
About human nature.
Yeah.
And the principles of effective organization.
It's like we're glimpsing the DNA of leadership.
It really is.
Seeing those building blocks of what makes a society function.
And we can't forget that spiritual dimension either.
Well, of course not.
I mean, this whole endeavor is divinely ordained.
Absolutely.
God is the ultimate leader.
Guiding his people toward the promised land.
And this census is a crucial step in that journey.
It's a reminder that even amidst these practical matters, counting heads, organizing troops.
Right.
There's a deeper purpose at play.
It's easy to get bogged down in the logistics sometimes.
Yeah, the day-to-day grind.
But the Israelites' experience really reminds us to keep that bigger picture in mind.
For sure.
To stay connected to those underlying values and aspirations.
Absolutely.
That drive our actions.
And it brings us back to Matthew Henry's point about the Levites.
Okay.
Their unique role serves as this reminder that those who dedicate themselves to God's service, to nurturing the spiritual well-being of the community, will be uniquely honored and protected.
So while the warriors are out there fighting physical battles,
Right.
the Levites are engaged in a different kind of warfare, the spiritual battle for the soul of the nation.
Precisely. They are the guardians of the sacred,
Yeah.
the keepers of the flame.
It's a beautiful image.
Reminding everyone of that higher purpose that drives their actions.
And it's not just about religious rituals or ceremonies, right?
Right.
It's about cultivating those values, that sense of shared purpose and connection to something greater than ourselves.
Yes. That allows a society to truly flourish.
This makes me think about Henry's emphasis on being prepared for spiritual battles, even when things seem peaceful.
It's about cultivating that inner strength, that resilience,
Right.
that allows us to navigate the challenges of life without losing sight of what really matters.
It's about recognizing that true strength comes not just from physical might,
Yeah.
but from a deep connection to our values, our beliefs, our sense of purpose.
It's about nurturing that inner compass that guides us through the wilderness.
Both literally and metaphorically.
I like that.
It's funny, we started this deep dive talking about a census, the seemingly dry and bureaucratic exercise.
Yeah.
But we've ended up exploring some pretty profound questions
We have.
about leadership purpose, the balance between the practical and the spiritual.
It's a testament to the richness of this ancient text, isn't it?
It really is.
Even a simple head count can reveal these profound truths about human nature, the dynamics of power, and the enduring importance of finding meaning and purpose in our lives.
And it makes you think, doesn't it?
About.
If those ancient Israelites could find meaning and purpose in the middle of a desert,
Right.
maybe we can find it in our own lives amidst the chaos and complexity of the modern world.
It's a challenge worth pondering.
It is.
But before we get too lost in our existential musings,
Okay.
there's one more fascinating aspect of the census I think deserves our attention.
Okay, what's that?
The sheer scale of it.
Okay.
Over 600,000 fighting men.
Right.
It's a number that's hard to even grasp.
It is.
And it raises an important question.
Okay.
What does it mean to be counted? When you're one of hundreds of thousands,
Right.
does individual identity get lost in such a vast sea of humanity?
It's almost mind-boggling to think about.
It is a big number.
Being one individual among that many people.
Hundreds of thousands, yeah.
Makes you wonder if you would just get lost in the crowd.
It's a question that comes up a lot, especially these days
Yeah.
when we worry about things like anonymity and feeling like just a cog in the machine.
Right.
But I think what's really striking about this census, even with the massive scale, is the attention to detail.
Okay.
I mean, each tribe is tallied separately,
Yeah.
each leader is named,
Right.
and each individual is implicitly acknowledged.
So it's not just a big faceless mass,
Yeah.
just a statistic.
No, not at all.
It's a collection of individuals,
Right.
each with their own story, their own family, their own, hopes and dreams for the promised land.
It's like a snapshot of a nation in the making,
Yeah.
capturing that moment of transition, From a scattered group of ex-slaves to a people united by this common purpose.
And that emphasis on individual identity,
Yeah.
even within this collective context, I think that's crucial.
Oh, absolutely.
It speaks to a deep respect for the dignity of each person.
I agree.
This recognition that even in a large group, each life matters.
Each person has a role to play, a contribution to make.
It's like, those mosaics
Yeah.
where each tiny little piece, even if it seems insignificant on its own,
Right.
contributes to the beauty and the complexity of the whole image.
You can't create that masterpiece without acknowledging the value of each individual piece.
And this idea, I think, is further reinforced by the Levites' unique role.
Oh, how so?
Well, they might not be counted among the warriors.
Right.
Their service isn't about physical strength.
It's not about military prowess.
But it's no less important.
Their dedication to the spiritual well-being of the community is essential.
Yeah.
It's what allows the whole system to function.
They're the heart and soul of the nation.
I like.
It's a good reminder that even if you're not on the front lines, even if your role seems less visible or glamorous,
Right.
your contribution is still essential.
Absolutely.
It's about finding your place,
Yeah.
using your unique talents to serve a greater purpose.
Well said.
It makes me think about all those people who work behind the scenes,
Yeah.
who keep things running smoothly, but don't always get a lot of recognition.
The unsung heroes.
They might not be the warriors or the leaders.
Right.
But without them, the whole system would fall apart.
That's a really insightful connection. It really speaks to the importance of recognizing and valuing those people.
Yeah.
The ones who might not be in the spotlight,
Right.
but whose contributions are nonetheless essential.
And their value isn't determined by, their fighting strength or their place in a hierarchy.
Right.
But by their commitment to serving that greater purpose.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to Matthew Henry.
Okay.
He talks about the Israelites' journey through the wilderness as a metaphor for the believer's journey through life.
Interesting.
We all face our own wilderness experiences.
Our own challenges, for sure.
And it's our faith, our commitment to something beyond ourselves that sustains us.
And sometimes it's those small, unseen acts of service that make the biggest difference.
Absolutely.
Huh.
So after this deep dive into the book of Numbers,
Yeah.
what's the takeaway for us here in the 21st century?
That's the big question, isn't it?
What can we glean from this ancient census
Right.
and apply to our modern lives?
Well, I think the most important lesson is this reminder
Right?
that even in a world that often feels impersonal and overwhelming, we are not just numbers.
We're individuals,
We are individuals.
each with our own unique value and purpose.
And it's in recognizing and honoring that individual worth, both in ourselves and in others,
Right.
that we can create a more compassionate and a more meaningful world.
It's a powerful message
It is.
and a fitting conclusion to our exploration of this often overlooked book of the Bible.
Who knew that a simple head count could lead to such profound reflections?
Right. About leadership purpose and the enduring importance of the individual.
It's amazing what you can find when you really dig into these ancient texts.
Well, thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey through the book of Numbers.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the unexpected depths of human knowledge and experience.